All right, so this is going to be the Journey Tokens by Kelly Fitzgerald. I bought this system and I thought I would do something kind of cool with it, which included some dice, just rolling a dice and letting the dice decide. So that would give me 5 tokens, for example. So that's a 10-sided dice. I just thought 10 would be like the maximum number of tokens that I would want to put in a reading. Now, I've already done some test readings. This is what I'm going to use for this video, where I just show you the test readings and I explain the process as I go. So this first reading was a reading I did for myself. How can I bridge my emotional grief to my logical choices to stay safe? That's what I asked myself. And the very first token I got was the passion token. So I reached in the bag and I pulled this one out just to start off. And so I pulled this passion token, and it kind of talks about like making sure your passion is kind of curved. Don't let things go too out of whack. Just you capitalize on the energy just to help yourself kind of do what you need to do. All right, so then the next token I got was this disruption token. So the disruption token. So what happened was I rolled the 6-sided dice and it landed on 1. So let's just do that. So if I had just done this reading, I would have moved this to the 2 section. So to explain, this top part would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So when I first did this, I rolled a 1 and I asked myself, like, what's the next step to this question with that passion? And I got disruption, which just again says utilize the energy to your advantage, right? Just kind of pull out that advantage for yourself. Okay, so then the third token I got was this East token, which I rolled a 3. So 1, 2, 3, it kind of landed there. So this East token says heads up, something that is kind of plugging up the energy works here. Oh, sorry, I misspoke. I rolled a 2, so it was there. So again, 1, 2, building off that, that it goes there. So I'm not going to go over each one. I'm just kind of going to give you a preview of how I did this. So then the next token, I rolled a 6, which put that there. That's the third row. Road. Can't talk. The third road. And it just says look at all your directions. So then the next token I roll is a 2, which I get adult achievement, which just kind of says, you've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot. And then the 7th one I got, where I rolled a 6, which was water. It landed there. And then my very last token was East, which I roll a 6 again, and it kind of lands there. So my first kind of layout looks something like this. I think my picture shows differently, but that's okay. Anyway, so that would be like a general guideline on how to do the journey tokens with dice, like just letting the dice decide where things should go. Okay, let's do another example here. I feel like this would be helpful too, to pull out another example. So you can see my notebook. I just have little notes in here. I did a distance reading where I knew the question as well, and then I did a reading with a actual person where I just again let them kind of do this part. So the first token I got was Earth for this person, and their question was, should I change careers into the fitness industry? And so he got Earth, and then the next token, which he rolls a 6, landed him the full moon, which kind of says manifest. And then he rolls a 4, which puts the passion right there. And then he rolled a 5. Again, the disruption is right there. So you see how this goes, like depending on the row, like the roll will depend on where things land and how they interact. And then the last one was 4, which was water. So this was his general layout, and basically the answer to his question was be careful. Like, just make sure you're being very careful with your energy and not just jumping into things. Okay, so I'm gonna do one example real quick where the question wasn't known until the end, and you're gonna see something really cool here. So their first token they pulled out was the plant, and the plant kind of showed what the start of this was. And then what happened next is they rolled a 5, which got them the fall. And then what happened after that was they got east, which covered up their plant because they rolled a 2. So that can happen. So the cover up just means that whatever's happening here, the direction of things is impacting their growth, their physical body. That part is kind of like helpful to know, because then you can kind of understand that how cover-ups work is that you go off of the last token, and what if the roll is going to land the token onto a previous token, you cover it up. It impacts the message that happens. Okay, so then they got a 4, which landed them right here with fire. Fire kind of landed them that there. Oops, I misspoke. That landed them passion. Sorry, I skipped one by mistake. And so they got another 4, which was fire. So then it built down that way. And then they got a 2, which was repel. So we'll put that repel. So you see, the repel is all about making, like, repelling energy, and the fire is literally hitting there into the, like, the fire is feeding the passion, is how I kind of read that when I did it. And so it was kind of like cool to have that come up. And then they rolled another 2, which got them this child one, and then they rolled another 2, which got them guidance. Now, the cool part was their question was basically this: how many spirit guides are with me today? And if you heard me, I said 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. The number 2 came up 4 times in the dice. And it was almost like saying, there's 2 of us, there's 2 of us, there's 2 of us. And I told her maybe one was a child, but this also could indicate her actual children. And they're saying, hey, we're here, listen, we're here, please listen to us. And we're here to help you, man, like, figure out your physical body. Don't let too much stress get the best of you to cause you any sort of sickness. So her question was, what causes a cover-up? And that's why I covered the cover-up up here, is because what causes a cover-up is depending on that previous token, like what makes that next token cover up or not. Now, if she would have rolled, like, say a 5, it would have landed there and it wouldn't have covered up. So just know that cover-ups seem to work in this system. It's almost like saying, hey, this is impacting that other token in that way. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this, and then hopefully this all makes sense to anybody watching. And this has been Journey Tokens, the way that I'm developing it and processing it. Oh, before I forget, when you look at the tokens, that top one, I label that north, which is like passion. This would be east, which is communication, spirit, which is what drives you. The south would be like a grounding. 5 would be intuition and insight, and then 6 would be water, which is emotional, emotionality, like west, east, north, south, spirit, intuition. So I wanted to make sure I did that real quick, just so you guys know, like, those positions matter where things land. And as you can see, she got a lot of 2s, which meant communication, communication, communication. And it's almost like, hey, we want you to listen, right? So basically this is how I imagine things to work for this, like casting your journey lot. That's what I'm calling it. You let the die 10 determine the number of tokens drawn. I would have the client select and then cast the dice, and the dice will determine placement, and then repeat that process over and over and over again until you have the complete reading based off of that first D10. So if the D10 rolls and you get a 1, that's fine. That just means that you really have to focus on that one thing. But then you can kind of still roll the D10 and let the D10 decide how many more tokens you want to explore with that, and just go from there. Okay, cool. I hope this helps other people explore these journey tokens in a unique, cool way. And if you have questions on why I chose dice and why I chose it to do this way, just please ask, and I will be happy to explain that to you. I hope you all have a wonderful day.